it came back in May, where this motion were put in place. And on the 30th of May, which is about 2 weeks ago, more than 2 weeks ago, it was a Saturday, on 30th of May, more than 2 weeks ago, Pakatan Harapan Presidential Council, with the attendance of 3 reps each party, had a meeting at PKR headquarters on a Saturday evening. In that particular meeting, we discussed about this possibility, how to regain the government. Then we have to decide on who is the Prime Minister in order to convince MPs. Those MPs who are not with us. So there were 2 options discussed and decided in that meeting. Option 1 is that we name Anwar as Prime Minister with Bukris as Deputy. That is a suggestion, a proposal. Option 1 is Anwar Bukris. But we know that in any political negotiations, we need to have options. So options 2 was Tun Mahathir and Anwar, meaning that Tun Mahathir as Prime Minister, Anwar as Deputy Prime Minister. But of course, we will make it clear to Dr. Mahathir, it is not until GE 15. It is for a period of time, a designated period of time, then he has to step down within a time frame. That is option 2. That meeting was chaired by Anwar himself, Dr. Sri Anwar himself. But in that meeting, even though we have 2 options, but we have decided that Pakatan Harapan must take all steps to realize option 1 first. In the words of Anwar, he has always told us that exhaust all avenues for option 1. So of course, in the past 2 weeks or so, there were endless meetings and negotiations, lobbying works, etc. I have attended more than 10 meetings perhaps in the past 2 weeks or so on this matter. And we have always speak, for DAP and Amanah, we have always speak in every top 5 meetings with Warisan and Bersatu that PH works for option 1, okay, or supports option 1. But there were 2 top 5 meetings over the past 1 week. Over the past 1 week and last week. The top 5, what I meant by top 5 is that the 3 leaders of Pakatan Harapan, Anwar, Lim Guan Eng and Mat Sabu, plus Dr. Mahathir and Dato Sri Shafie. So what we call as top 5. But of course the top 5 were joined by at least 2 other reps from each party. In the case of DAP, it was myself and Gobin. So there were 15 people in that meeting. The meeting on 9th of June, that is last Tuesday, the previous Tuesday, all these options were discussed. Option 1 was discussed, but Warisan did not agree. Okay, Warisan did not agree. Warisan was very firm that they wanted option 2, which is Tun M to lead. Their reason is that Tun M will be able to get the numbers from ex-Bersatu or from Bersatu MPs and some of the MPs in Sabah and Sarawak. Okay, that was the position by Warisan. So during that meeting, there was a closed-door meeting among the 5 people. Okay, because there was a time that when no decision was being made, then we let the 5 members, let the 5 leaders discuss among themselves for short discussion. So I was made to understand during that top 5 meeting, Tun Dr. Mahathir offered himself to serve just for 6 months. After 6 months, he will resign and hand over the power to Anwar. No, of course it's verbal. In the meeting was verbal. We have not come into black and white yet, but of course it's all verbal. It's a decision. It is a position by him, and it was communicated verbally to the top 5 meetings. So the 6 months came from there. Okay. came from himself for first 6 months. Then, of course, there was no decision there and then. Pakatan Harapan decided that we give ourselves 1 week to decide. 1 week deadline was supposed to be yesterday, from 9th of June until 16th of June. There was 1 week deadline. But in between, there was a meeting of the 5 parties, which we managed to had the meeting without the knowledge of the media. It was held. Yes, it was held last Saturday. Okay. Last Saturday morning, we had a meeting where it was attended by the 5 parties. All the 5 main leaders were there, the top leaders were there, and joined by the rest. So we have that 5 meetings. Again, there's another round of negotiation. But in the meeting among the top 5, it was again the same decision, stalemate. We wanted option 1. Okay, we wanted Anwar. Pakatan Harapan wanted Anwar, but it was not agreed upon by Warisan and Bersatu. And Bersatu Tun M what I meant. So again, there's a stalemate. So after the top 5 meetings on Saturday, we had, after Tun Mahathir and Shafi left, we had a meeting by Pakatan Harapan, the 3 parties, immediately after that. So on that particular Saturday, which is last Saturday, we said that there was a decision by Pakatan Harapan. If we have exhausted option 1, if we cannot succeed on option 1, then our fallback position will be option 2. So as far as option 2 is concerned, it was an option already discussed by Pakatan Harapan, and that was already mentioned or discussed 2 weeks ago. If we cannot succeed on option 1, there was a fallback position on option 2, which is to let Tun Mahathir to be the Prime Minister for a short period of time, in this case 6 months, and after that Anwar will take over. So after that decision, we mentioned that it is now Anwar's call whether he agrees to that or not. So the deadline was supposed to be yesterday, Tuesday, but so far we have not heard any decision by Dato' Sri Anwar yet officially. So that is the position as of now.